What's up, everybody? We're back. I'm George MOSSEY. This is my co-host, Marshana Dahlia, 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Season 6, Episode 12. This is Part 2. We're going to talk about the last three couples of the episode, and let's start out with Jovi and Yara. So Yara sends Jovi out to get a whole bunch of raw fish, basically, for her Ukrainian Christmas, and she invites Gwen and his cousins, Chris and Claire, over, who live 2 hours away, and they get over there, they eat her disgusting food. And then an hour and a half later, she decides at 6 p.m. she needs to put her daughter to bed and they need to leave. That's rude, right? That's rude.
Well, yeah, sorry, guys. My camera might be shaking a bit because it's flopping all over the place. But yeah, it's incredibly rude. First of all, I don't cook for company, okay? If you come in my house, trust that I called the local restaurant and I got it catered. Because I just don't believe that I'm going to enjoy myself if I had to slave over the meal, tend the meal, cook to the stove. Like, I'm not doing that. But Yara did do all of that. I can't find the purpose in cooking the meal, providing for the people, encouraging them to try something from your Ukrainian culture, only to turn around and make them leave prematurely. Someone make it make sense. Like, I don't understand the effort, even for her, to do that, to say, oh, Mila needs to go to bed, so everybody needs to leave. She's going to create a nice little prison for herself in parenthood, because if you have raised your children to need an empty house, like perfect scenarios to sleep, then you're not going to get anything done. My son is an on-the-go kid at 8 months old. He knows how to brunch, lunch, do everything in between, take his naps when he can, and live her life. I have to say that after watching this episode, I do agree with Jovi. I understand where Jovi is coming from when he says they need something for themselves. You know, they are a new mom, new dad. Yara refuses help pretty much every single option that they get. He's gone for months at a time. So when he comes home, he does want a little bit of private, intimate, romantic time with his wife. So I do support his idea of going away on a vacation without the baby, because I feel like the time that he is home, some of that time needs to be spent as quality time connecting with his wife as a wife and not only as a mother. I think she is a radical mom who wants to just dictate everything. Jovi and everybody else better do what she says or pay hefty prices. And I think that in the end, ultimately, that's going to negatively affect her and Mila and her marriage to her husband.
I disagree 100%.
Wow.
I feel like Jovi is 100% wrong. He knocks her up the second time around. And he marries her, he brings her here, he leaves her here for months at a time, and then decides that...
How will they eat?
I don't agree. I feel like he's upset that he calls her boring because of the baby that
She is boring. She is boring. Are we watching the same show, friend? She's so boring. Ever since she became a parent, she is so boring.
Well, what did he think was going to happen? They were going to have a baby and she was going to go out to the strip club with him and bring the baby? Like, I don't agree with the way he's treating her. She became a mother because he gave her a baby. She didn't do this on her own. And I cannot stand the way he's ostracizing her behavior because she's a good mother. I don't stand for it. I just don't. If he wasn't ready for a baby, because he's basically saying everything is this baby. Okay. It has to be this baby because it's your baby.
We're both married and we're both parents, right? You and Heather have 3 beautiful children, which I love and adore. My husband and I have 1. You have to admit, like, parenthood is a challenge, and sometimes you need to be conscious about time for yourself as husband and wife. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I do want to drag Tiffany and I absolutely want to drag Andre. So I don't want to drag it on, but I'm so shocked, friend. I'm just shocked.
We'll have to talk about this probably on another podcast because
we got to get into this.
Yeah, okay? We have to unpack this. We don't have time today, but definitely. So let's talk about Tiffany, actually. Let's talk about the bad date that they had, and then they slept in different beds. And then Ronald says that he's helping. She says it's just the same old crap. She says he's not helping. He says that he's doing more than his part. And he basically tells her that in his culture, women can't have an opinion. He's not used to that. He's the hierarchy of the relationship.
Wait a minute. Y'all gonna stop. Y'all gonna stop coming at my friend Ronald.
That's what he said.
Ronald. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm actually really proud of Ronald this episode for being able to put words to something that we've all known that he feels, but like he's being honest. Like, as a South African man, I was raised in patriarchy. It's kind of what I know. I feel like you want to take the belt off of my pants and you want to wear them. I feel like you want to be above me, which she does feel like that. Listen, remember, she said it not this episode, the episode before. I am the man in this relationship. She doesn't know how to allow Ronald to lead. But if you don't trust Ronald's leadership abilities, you never should have married him and made a baby with him. So I'm going to bring this back to Tiffany.
Pick me. He wants to wear the belt, but not pay for anything or do anything. Wearing the belt means that you're the man of the house.
But what do we think this is? Okay, so the man of the house is only the man with money. All right, let's go with that. She should never have married. She married him penniless. There was no indication that Ronald ever gave her that life with him as a father and a husband would be any different than what it is. Tiffany is incredibly manipulative, narcissistic, okay, and wants to be the Lord over Ronald. There is a reason why she is with a broke person who struggles with a gambling addiction. She could not get anything better in this life. No man of sense and means who wants a good family and a good life is going to ever choose Tiffany. Okay. And you know what? She could never be with a man like that because she doesn't know how to play her role as a wife. I said it. Don't at me.
Okay, so let's talk about his plan to purchase a truck.
Oh,
so,
bad idea.
He decided to buy a truck 3 months before. We don't know that his visa is going to be approved, but his decision would be in 3 months. So we're basing it based on that. She's looking at it as, why would you purchase a truck that has monthly payments that you can't bring with you to America because there's a huge ocean in between, when you could just do this when you get to America? And every opportunity that he gets to make a financial decision is crazy and off the wall, just like he took her to the grocery store and they couldn't afford any groceries, but now he can afford a truck.
But who's out here trusting Ronald's financial decisions? Who's out here trusting the decisions of a person with a gambling addiction? Let's be honest. Like, why would you think anything different? He is making mistakes, but if you are not comfortable allowing a person like that to lead your family, you should not have married him. Marry someone that can prove to you, has proven ability way before you get down the aisle, that they can provide the kind of life for you that you envision. I don't think they had any real conversations about what life would be like on the other side of marriage and parenthood. And I don't blame Ronald. Ronald has been Ronald. Now Tiffany has morphed into the manipulative, controlling, absolutely insatiable, unable, difficult to please person that she has always been all along. I'm sorry. And I really want to drag Andre. So let's not stay on Tiffany's narcissistic behind too much longer.
Her time will come. I'll definitely want to talk about her more later on another date. But let's talk about the family reunion. So they get to the actual family reunion because last week they weren't even there yet. They were just at Aunt Sue's house. And Libby's sneaky little sister brings up Becky. Becky brings up the babies that they hired behind Andre's back in front of Andre. She did it on purpose. I don't care what anybody says. She wanted to start mess, and she knew that there was extended family there to make the mess amplified. And she did it.
It was so great. You know why? Because Andre cannot be the only one being manipulative and sneaky here. Okay, if we're going to play the game, we're both going to play by the exact same set of rules. So Andre, you manipulate Chuck to turn against his own children, so you could bypass his children to get a direct line to Chuck's money, so that way you and Chuck could be in business. I got bombs I could drop too. I got ways I can be manipulative too. I got ways that I can ruin your little plans. Oh yeah, absolutely. You think only one person can play this game? No. Two can. I loved it. Be messy. Which one was that? Rebecca or Jen? I can't remember.
That was Becky.
Becky. Becky, if you watch this, shout out to you. I'm going to give you, that's one Becky.
One Becky, and how many does Andre have? Andre's winning now.
Andre has more than anybody. Andre's the most manipulative. Sorry, guys.
Well,
I'm just trying to hold my
last
phone in
night, during the foosball game, Chuck and Thomas, who is Becky's husband, were playing foosball. And then Andre decides to play as well. And then this time, actually, Chuck brings up a property to Andre, and they start talking business. Andre didn't bring it up for the one time in the whole world. Andre was not trying to manipulate Chuck. I'm going to give him credit there.
You are joking. You are joking. He's been doing enough manipulation to get him to this point.
So Thomas runs downstairs and tells the sisters, I mean, literally instantly.
That's right.
And then the sisters come up, and then there's this huge fight that ensues. But this was the one time Andre did not start the
He's been doing
process.
Oh my God, he's been massaging and milking Chuck like he's a teat on a cow. Like literally, like what do you mean? This is the one time. It's all him. Look, and the fact that Chuck gave away so easily his approval and said, "You've proven yourself to me on this trip." I'm sorry, Chuck. When was that? When he was cursing out your daughter, calling her a bitch after their child almost fell down the stairs? Was that when he was cursing out Jen and Becky about the RV? Was that when, like when? When? How did he prove? What did he do? He is rewarding little to no effort, and he's actually rewarding bad behavior because Andre is so manipulative. I love his family. I mean, not his, I love Chuck's family. Except for Libby. Libby, you're on your own. But I love everybody else, and I love Charlie. Take Andre down. I don't know how some of y'all find support for Andre. I'm not even going to give him the credit of he didn't do it this time. He's been doing it consistently enough, and that's good manipulation, isn't it? Where I no longer have to do it every single time. You already know when you see me how you got to treat me.
That's true. He's playing his chess pieces where the pieces are now playing for him.
Very well.
Well, I know that there's going to be a fight next week. We saw the preview.
Next week? They've been teasing us with this fight for so long. I feel like it's not
this
coming.
one was a separate fight because they were still upstairs with the food table, and then the other fight was at the pool. So it looked as though Becky threw food in Andre's face, and then a fight ensued. So we are going to have to wait until next week to see what exactly happened. I know for a fact Thomas he's not going to do anything to help his wife because we watched him do nothing the first time.
Thomas isn't going to do anything. This is why Andre has come into this family and firmly coronated himself and sat himself on the throne and tells himself that he calls the shots. And he even told Charlie, I told you that's not how this is going to go. And Chuck hears all of these things and will still say to Andre, you have proven yourself to me this trip. I'm sorry. When he was getting loud and disrespectful in your sister's home, where and how, Chuck? Where and how?
I agree. And on that note, that's it for part 2, guys. I could talk about Chuck all day. But that's it for part 2.
For my camera issues this time, everybody.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. I'm George MOSSEY. This is my co-host, Marshana Dahlia. We will be there next week to see this fight happen. And actually, Tammy and Asuelo's mom will also be arriving next week. This is going to be an action-packed episode. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and make sure you're live tweeting with us because we want to see it all unfold. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we're going to talk to you guys really soon.
Bye.